Good afternoon. My name is Kendrick Bartley. I will be comparing the INTAC's model course teaching standards to the Code of Ethics of the education profession. First, before we can educate the child, we must fully understand the child, and the INTAC model core teaching standards allow us to better understand the learning development. And the learning development, in my opinion, we must know how the child learns and what methods work best for every child in our classrooms. This relates to the relationships that we form. By forming those relationships with our students, we have build trust and knowledge that allows us as educators to design lessons that will identify the strengths of every student. And relating this to classroom management, whenever we understand our students and understand their background and where they came from, this will better understand what discipline problems, why are they misbehaving, why are they acting out, what do they need from us. This brings me to number two, our learning differences. Every child is different, and their culture and the way they were raised is different from the next student. We must design instruction that differentiate our lessons to reach all students based on their current level. For example, if I have an ESL and an AIG student, my instruction and lessons may vary for both. Number three, learning environments. Every teacher should build a community where all students are welcome and feels entitled to an education that is preparing them for the 21st century. This is possible by building respect and trust between all stakeholders involved in the student's education. Content knowledge. Every teacher, regardless who they are, they must know their content. That's a given. And I mean, in order to be committed to the student and the profession, you got to know what you're teaching. Number five, application of content. Building rigor, making students think is crucial. For example, create math problems that are interdisciplinary so students are practicing multiple subjects in one math problem. This is often seen on reading EOG when students have to read about science and social studies. I can say many times in our science and social study classes, what I've witnessed is students are bored, and a lot of our problems that I see as a full-time administrative intern is in those subjects, the science and social classes, because the teachers do not use any type of strategy that's engaging for the students. Assessment. The test must align with the curriculum and instruction. Also, the assessment should be the first part of the alignment, meaning prior to designing our lessons, we should create our assessment first because this allows us to know what are we teaching towards. We must use both formative and summative assessments. Formative assessments should be used several times throughout the learning. Throughout the lesson. Plan of instruction, keep the end in mind. I always say this, what is our end goal? Because that's what we're trying to reach. What are we doing and what are our goals for our students? But most importantly, how are we going to reach our goals? And that is by planning effectively and creating lessons that are engaging, that relate to the content standards. We must differentiate our instruction and make sure we are reaching all our students. Instructional strategies. We must not only depend on a textbook, we should incorporate several different instructional strategies such as small groups, technology, and written oral discussions, can be whole group discussion. We must understand that it is okay to change the way we do things and think outside the box. We have so many resources available and we must use them to engage all learners. Something that I like to say is we must challenge the norm. We must not get used to one particular way of doing things. We must be innovative. Professional learning and ethical practice. We never know all the answers nor everything in education. In order to be successful, we must realize we are always students who are learning daily. As educators, we must continue taking PD sessions and learning. Also, we must reflect on our practices and be supportive of feedback from our peers and the administrative team. Last but not least, leadership and collaboration. Working as a team is vital in education. We must be able to depend on others and work with families, nurses, administrators, and so forth. We are all in it together to benefit the student. Keeping a form of communication with all parties involved is important to the success of the student. So when a teacher follows the 10 standards that I just discussed, we are showing we are committed to the student and that we are committed to the profession. By giving a student high quality instruction and realizing that every student in your classroom is important and deserves all we got, shows we are committed and determined for every student to succeed. To educate, we must first be free of any biases, regardless of sex, race, gender, etc. We must be fair to all students, regardless of any circumstance. As educators, we must be committed to the profession and demonstrate integrity in every decision we make. Understanding the code of ethics and standards for teachers allows me to understand my duties to every student, which brings me to my philosophy of teaching, which I believe that all students can learn when given a positive structured learning environment, as well as an effective educational team and a supportive family. When there's an effective relationship between the teacher and student, I notice this decreases the chance of classroom management issues. Also, understanding the difference in learning styles and the environment that works best for every student is vital in understanding how to effectively reach a child and understand the behavior that one may present. For example, if a student is behaving in the classroom, misbehaving in the classroom, I do believe 9 out of 10 times they are bored, needing attention, and the teacher, and or has no clue what is going on in the classroom. Therefore, the instructional strategy piece is important and relates directly back to the commitment we have to the student and profession, because every child deserves a high quality education from an effective teacher who can reach every child regardless of discipline issues that may be presented. Thank you.